everyone. Welcome to. What is this? What is that horrible sound? It sounds like it's.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I just heard a horrible demonic sound, or an alien sound, like it came from the Andromeda Galaxy.
But, oh no!
But that was our.
Bitch.
Yeah, that was our wild African jungle music, Tarzan style. Just in case our special guest, and you probably have recognized him by now, Tom the Beer Whisperer himself, if he decides to do an impression of Tarzan and take his shirt off, I thought I have the jungle music. The jungle set. That's a professional djembe African drum player, but from a traditional drum made of goat skin and wood. This is Mega Life 21 Mayhem, and I am your host, James Piranha Madonna of Mega Life 21 Mayhem, and we are here once again for a special edition of Honest Craft Beer Reviews and Regional Food and Drink. Okay, this is Honest Craft Beer Reviews, Volume 10, and I am here once again with the one and only, the high exalted, grand mystic imperial wizard of internet beer tasting, Tom Mulvihill, the beer whisperer himself. How you feeling today, Tom?
Hey, I'm good, James. Are you ready for me to pop a beer?
Yes, I am ready for you to pop the first beer because this show, Volume 10, is going to be about summer brews.
Yes.
You like that old, like those two songs written about summer. What the first one is, what is it? We're having what we love, or how does it go? These are the lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer, and the other one, of course, is hot fun in the summertime. And I bet the people that wrote and made money off those songs stood in the ice-cold air conditioning throughout the whole summer. But anyway, what do we have?
We have, they tell me it's pronounced, excuse me. They tell me it's pronounced Zwickel. It is a German-style summer lager. They're generally under 5%, very light. This one is made by a craft brewery in St. Louis called Urban Chestnut, and it runs 5.1%, 19 IBUs. It is basically an unfiltered, unpasteurized, quick fermenting beer.
Okay, and a quick fermenting.
It is one of those regional beers that's even not all through all of Germany. It's a regional brew, but this craft brewer out of St. Louis called Urban Chestnut picked up this style and made this their flagship brew. As you can tell there, I mean, it's got a nice color. It's a little cloudy,
which is good. It's a light. It's a good high quality craft light beer.
And you could tell from there, this is a different sized bottle. And it's actually 16, it says 1.7 fluid ounces.
Right.
So 16.7 ounces. That's kind of a different size. They're very interesting. They come in a four pack of these 16-ounce bottles. Oh. Generally, when I talk about beers, kind of break it down. There's really there's 100 different styles, but for me they break down into two areas. You've got refreshing and you've got comforting. And when you're talking refreshing, then you're talking the summer styles, the a Hefeweizen or an unfiltered wheat, a Pilsner, even a Maybach can fall into there as kind of a spring summer beer. And then when you're talking comforting, then you've got the bigger beers like a big, thick porter or, a bourbon barrel stout or a big box. So that's kind of the difference. We're talking about the more refreshing end of the beer spectrum.
Well, that color reminds me, Tom, of a German beer I drank at one time called Warsteiner.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me the color. It reminds me of Warsteiner. It's a Warsteiner is a lighter.
German lager. This one actually has a little more flavor than a Warsteiner. Now that I'm tasting it here. 19 IBUs.
Yeah, I know Warsteiner was recommended by a German man that said it was very popular
Oh man.
in Germany at that time. And we're talking about the early to mid 1990s. And at that time, he told me Warsteiner was popular because at that time, you know, Beck's and St. Pauli Girl were being were being promoted and shipped to the United States at that time. So he mentioned, well, Germans like to drink Warsteiner, but that's what it reminds me of. You know, I mean, I'm a fan of the dark stuff, but
yeah, I am too. But you know, there isn't when it's. I mean, I don't know what it's like there, but here we're looking at what 90 something and humid as all heck out there.
Well, yesterday we hit 98 with a
really?
heat.
Holy smokes! You know, when you're talking about weather like that, you may not want that big, heavy stout. You know, that big, thick, chocolatey porter. You may want something lighter and refreshing. You know, take it to that refreshing end. You want something more that's just you're going to walk in the house and sweat's dripping off you. You go to the fridge and you pop it, and it just quenches your thirst. And, you know, that's what a good summer style will do for you. But it also has some flavor. I'm not talking about crappy macro stuff that's going to go down like water and not refreshing.
Yeah,
I'm talking about something with some flavor. And even though this is light, it is a little toothy. I mean, there's something there. You can tell you've got beer. Oh, man, it does have great flavor. I wish you could sip this one, too. It is nice.
Yeah, this is no Coors Light, my friends. This is high-quality craft, old world light beer. And you know what would be more refreshing also if you squeeze one or two wedges of lime like they do with the Coronas, except this is way better than Corona. You know, you could squeeze some lime in there, lemon.
I wouldn't put a piece of fruit in this because it's got so much great flavor on its own. Yeah. But, you know, some people might.
I mean, if it's hot and it's summer and you're thirsty, you know, lime or lemon is very refreshing in itself.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to add it, you know, you could do so with the light beer here. Yeah, yesterday was 98 with the summer, with the heat index, it was over 100. Today was 92, and but tonight the temperature is going to drop. And right now, the beginning of a thunderstorm is taking place. Right now, I can hear the raindrops, but you know, we're like, you know, we the show must go on. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You're a trooper.
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to read the back of this bottle real quick for you. It says, Vickel Bavarian Style Lager is part of our Reverence series, our celebration of beer's heritage, brewing classically crafted, timeless European beer styles. Prost. That's kind of the mission statement of this particular brewery. It's kind of why I picked them this time, because I've talked about other local breweries before. This is a small brewery out of St. Louis. And they're kind of trying to kind of merge both worlds of the creative craft beer and the old world tradition. And this is kind of their old world style. And I've got one I'm going to drink for you later called Wingnut, which is a beer that uses finely milled chestnuts.
Oh wow!
In the stuff, but it's also you know in that summer range of type of beer. So I'm kind of going, you know, one end of the spectrum. I'm going old world, and then I'm going to go the other way on the next one.
Well, to you picky beer drinkers out there, all I have to say is try if you're fickle, try Zwickel, and you won't be in a pickle.
I tell you what, I've never had a Zwickel style before, and this one is just fantastic. It really is. It's just oh man, it's got great flavor, and it's got just a great crisp, dry finish on it. That's just wonderful.
That's what I like, the dry finish.
Oh yeah. And I love that so many small breweries are popping up all across the country. I've talked about this one. Another one, Civil Life and Four Hands. Those beers don't even get out of St. Louis.
Four
So, I mean, you have
Hands.
to be going to St. Louis to get those suckers. So, I mean, that's kind of neat where you have, that you were talking about regional food and drink. Well, I mean, this is a regional beer.
Right.
You know, you're only going to find this in the St. Louis area.
Well, it's a good thing that beer is called Four Hands and not Foreskin. That's all I got to say.
That's a whole different flavor altogether.
Yeah, we don't want to go there. But blow me down. So anyway, it is the beginning of summer.
And
The summer solstice.
You can tell, but this was a 16-ounce beer, and I'm not even trying to power through it, and I'm over halfway done with this. This thing is so refreshing and so tasty, and that's the kind of beer you want when it's 85, 90 degrees or 95 plus. So you want that beer that's gonna, go down easier until you want a hooker, you know.
Well, I thought that doing the theme of summer brews, refreshing summer brews, was very applicable to the fact that the first day of summer, which was June the 20th, was that Wednesday?
Yeah.
Excuse me. The first day of summer was Wednesday. And you are hypnotizing our viewers. Wednesday and Thursday, the 21st. Usually the 21st is the first day, but for some reason, 20th was the first day. And it happens to be the summer solstice week, and I thought, what the hell? Let's do summer brews.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. You know, I mean, anybody that's seen any of my reviews or watched these shows knows I love the big, the great big flavors, the big ABV beers. I love the big Imperial IPAs and the big Imperial Stouts and the bourbon barrels. I love those big tasty beers. But there's a time when you want this lighter beer. You want to have maybe 2, 3, or 4, and you don't want to get hammered right away. And more importantly, you're drinking because it's refreshing. You know,
Right.
To me, you shouldn't be drinking for the buzz. That's a bonus. That's a byproduct. You know, you're just happy that's there.
Well, that's
But
what
you should drink
yeah.
for the flavor of the beer.
Yeah, but that's what college kids and and people of low class and intelligence do. They drink for the buzz.
Yeah,
They drink for the buzz. We drink because we want to taste
Oh,
high
yeah,
quality everything.
That's exactly right. It's same for whiskey too. I mean, I'm not going to talk about whiskey on the show, but that's why you should drink a decent whiskey, and take your time with it. You know, don't mix it with Coke. You know, if you need to put some ice in it, or have it neat, or drop a couple ice cubes to get her cold. But don't spoil that natural flavor. I mean, you've got good smokiness, good sweetness. Same thing with the beer. I mean, buy good beer and treat it right.
Yeah, well, I've had there's definitely a major difference in high quality Irish whiskey and garbage. I know I could taste it in Canadian whiskey or American whiskey compared to the Irish. And you explained in the other show the difference between Irish whiskey and Scotch whiskey, and it was outstanding. We got great reviews from that. But I've had India Pale Ale that was not dark, that was a little light in color. And so I think an India Pale Ale could be a good summer beer.
You're right, and there are a small handful. I've talked about Pilsners, Hefeweizens, Maybachs, this style, and there's of course there's the Craft American Blonde, which is a style they made up. But yeah, there's a few that will overlap to give you both comforting and refreshing. And many IPAs and even some double or imperial IPAs will do that as well. And I've actually been drinking more IPAs this summer for that fact because I've been finding the bitterness of the IPA very refreshing this year. Where in past years I've drank more wheats or more Maybachs or the Saison. I forgot to mention the Saison or the Farmhouse Ale, which is a great summer style. I did mention that one earlier, but this year I'm really enjoying the IPAs the most.
Now let me ask you a question. beers or ales made from wheat or oatmeal, do they use hops in them?
Okay, now traditionally, yeah, there are hops in today's ales. Originally, way back when, that was the major difference between a beer and an ale. Other than ales are generally top fermenting, but ales didn't contain hops, and ales usually contained other ingredients. Traditionally, the purity of beer was basically malted barley, hops, yeast, and water. That was it. But ale was a completely different animal, and many of the big old ales, especially if we're talking about British ales, contain molasses or brown sugar or various other ingredients to make them big and thick and hearty. So traditionally, an ale did not have hops, but they do today.
Well, ales are indigenous to the United Kingdom, historically.
Yeah.
Historically, yeah. Stouts.
But yeah, traditionally they didn't have hops, but they do in today's market, if that helps you any.
Okay. Yeah, like
and generally, when you're talking about the traditional, British ales, they were generally higher in alcohol. I mean, they were these big, robust things that contained many, they could have oatmeal, they could have molasses, they could have just about anything in them.
Yeah,
and they were big ABV monsters.
Yeah, like a Newcastle brown ale or a Boddington's ale.
Well, those are lighter, younger versions. I'm talking way back when they were these big, thick, big monsters, generally 10% and above. But yeah, I mean, now you're talking about a whole different thing when you're talking about a Newcastle or Boddington's.
You mean like the story I heard that King Henry VIII was drinking ale instead of water because the water was contaminated, the public water supply?
Well, yeah, I don't know that story, but that's why, I haven't been to Mexico in years, but when I used to go, I never drank the water. I'd only drink beer. So,
well,
bacteria cannot live in beer.
Yeah, but you know what? The bacteria can sneak into your body like it did to me in Acapulco in the 1980s when I went to a local restaurant and I ate the salad. And the lettuce was washed with public water. Yeah. And I got the Montezuma's revenge, of course, with all
the... eat anything, too.
With the nausea and the vomiting and the brown water blowouts, the diarrhea.
Yeah.
And it's very embarrassing.
If you just stick with beer and tequila, you're okay.
Yeah. when you're at the pool and you got to run, with that funny, penguin walk, running to the
that's not good.
No, that's not good at all. And what helped me was Dramamine, believe it or not.
Is that right?
Yeah, I tried that Lamodal. Somebody told me a funny name. I think it was Lamodal. Nah, Dramamine just stopped everything. I don't know why. But then the next time I went overseas to Latin America is I listened to a medical nutritionist on the radio, and I took probiotic yogurt bacteria and garlic oil capsules for a couple weeks before the trip. And when I went on the trip, I didn't get sick. So I continued to do that.
So, well, good.
Yeah, that worked out. But anyway, that is some of the history. I heard that, in the Middle Ages, the water supply was tainted, a little contaminated. You didn't have the public tap water you have today. I mean, today, of course, you got fluoride, which is toxic, but, it's, what can you do? You just buy a Brita water filter like I do.
Yeah.
And keep it in the refrigerator.
Yeah, that's what we did for years. The refrigerator we have has a water filter in it, so it filters the water that comes out of the refrigerator.
Oh, okay. You have the one where you have the ice cube maker and the ice water comes out as filtered, right?
Yes.
What does it have, a carbon block filter in there, or is it reverse osmosis, or?
You know what it is, there?
What kind of filtration do you have in it?
The filter? Is it a carbon or reverse osmosis? She thinks it's carbon.
Carbon, yeah, like the Brita.
Yeah, it's probably similar to
Yeah,
that.
the Brita has silver in it because silver is it kills bacteria.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, they put silver in the cartridge for that reason. Silver, just like silver kills werewolves and vampires don't like it, well, bacteria doesn't like silver either.
Well, I just stepped out for a second so I can grab beer number 2 for
Okay,
you.
sure.
So let me pop this bad boy. Now, I've never had this one before, just so you know. We're trying it together here. That's from Urban Chestnut, and it's wing nuts. It's ale brewed with chestnuts. Even though they're calling this an ale, it does have hops, just so you know. This one
Wing
is
nuts.
5.7%, 25 IBUs, and because it's a big bottle, I'm using this big glass to pour it in here.
That's a nice mug. You showed me that mug before.
Yeah, this is on the bottom it's stamped Winston. I guess my dad got this for sending in cigarette tops or something, or cartons or something.
That holds a full pint, right?
Yeah, it does, as you can see there. And that's a nice color on there, right?
Yes.
Check that. It's kind of what would you call that? It's like a sunset thing going on there.
It's like a chestnut, like a light chestnut brown.
There you go.
Very, very nice. Very, very good looking beer.
Now,
A good looking
the
mug.
aroma on this, obviously, not surprisingly, the aroma is a little nutty.
There you go. Well, hey,
Just like me.
like you've been called a little nutty at times.
Yeah, that's my home run swing. Oh, okay. Wow, this is different.
Looks good.
A lot of people have different. There's a term called the session beer, and a lot of people, there's different ABVs that people will put in that. For me, session beer is anything under 6%, so I'm still calling this a session at 5.7, and it is nutty, but it is also refreshing. It is still one you can have on a day like this. Oh, wow. Hold on a second. Let me give you some flavors here.
That looks like a real outstanding craft beer experience there for summertime. Excellent.
You know, this has got some incredible flavor. I've never eaten chestnut, so I don't know what to compare it to. But it's nutty, a little fruity.
Well, nuts. I never met a nut I didn't like. Well, I mean, edible nut. I never met an edible nut I didn't like. But chestnuts are very dry, non-oily nuts.
Well, this thing
Chestnuts
is,
are dry.
I'm not sure if it's the nuts or the hops, but it's got this finish on it that's just unbelievable. I'm trying to place it here. I've never had anything quite like this before. This is an amazing brew. I tell you what. I mean, wowzer. And if anybody listening to this show gets through St. Louis, you've got to pick this up. This is an incredible beer. Holy cow, I've never had it before. The back of the bottle says Wingnut Chestnut Ale is part of their Revolution series, our contribution to the renaissance of craft beer, brewing artisanal, modern American beers. Okay, and that goes to what I said before. Half the company, they're kind of trying to bridge both worlds between modern and old world with the wingnut and then the Zwickel.
The Zwickel. Now, I've heard of pecan or pecan beer. It's a brewery in the South that makes pecan beer.
Mm-hmm.
However you say it, pecan or pecan, and
I say pecan because a pecan is what I throw away at the rest stop when I'm traveling.
You piss in the can and.
I throw away the pecan.
Well, that's why I keep an empty, heavy-duty plastic orange juice bottle in the car because you never know. What if you're in traffic? What are you going to do? We're not wearing Depends, for God's sakes. I mean, we got to do something with the urine.
A couple weeks ago, I did have a pecan brown from another local, or not local, but St. Louis brewery called Ferguson. It was a pecan ale. But this one's a whole different animal. That one was a little, would probably suit better in the fall. But this one really works for this kind of weather. It's very satisfying and refreshing. It's an interesting beer. Oh, excuse me, right there.
That's quite all right.
And I love that color. Oh my gosh, that's a great color.
Yes, very nice color. Very, very pleasing to the eyeballs.
A very, very drinkable and approachable beer.
Wow.
Got this slightly dry, fruity finish that's very different than anything I've ever had before.
Yes.
Wowzer! Wow! I wasn't expecting that. Like I said, never had this before, so I didn't know what to expect. But wow, I'm enjoying it a whole lot more than I expected. Chestnuts, who knew?
Yeah, these are not chestnuts roasting on an open fire. This is much better. Chestnut craft brewed beer. And of course, at the beginning of the show, you have seen Zwickel for the Fickle. And,
Fickle.
The theme today is Summer Brews because we are in summer solstice week, the beginning of summer. The lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer.
Generally in the summer you want the lighter, more refreshing beers. There are some exceptions to that. I mean, we talked about, an IPA can be refreshing, and most of them will get up to, anywhere between 6 and 7.5%. Also, there's the German Maybach style, which is generally considered more of a spring style, but it can overlap into summer. And the American versions of them generally jump into 7% territory as well. But they're also very refreshing. So,
well, I was just thinking, craft beer, high quality craft beer, since it's a good source of B complex vitamins, it might just be a good source of electrolyte minerals, which means craft beer might make an excellent.
Oh, you know what? I had to let go of the window, but. Now that you mentioned that, on the Zwickel, because it's unfiltered, unpasteurized, it does mention on their website that it does leave a lot of vitamins behind in the beer.
Yeah, what I was going to say was craft beer might very well make an excellent sports drink instead of drinking a sugar-laden Gatorade, which is mostly sugar anyway. Have a craft beer.
That's right. They always make me feel better.
Yeah, I mean, grains are a rich source of magnesium and other minerals, so you might just have a good sports drink there.
Oh.
But
man, that is tasty. Holy cow, that's a good beer. Wow, this one's blowing me away. Actually, it really is. That is a fantastic brew. Wow, Urban Chestnut Wingnut. Holy cow, that's a tasty beer.
Now, do you find a tremendous variety of craft beers in your liquor store? Do you find new ones once in a while?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky here, considering I'm not in I'm not in an extremely large town here in Springfield, where I don't know, probably somewhere between 150 and 200,000. But I do have a pretty good selection of craft beer. I have two big stores out here. Well, I've got a chain here, a local area chain called Brown Derby, and they've got a good beer guy there who gets in all the craft beer that he can. So I've got a nice selection, and then there's a store that opened up. Where are they out of, babe? Arkansas? Macadoodles is out of Arkansas. Macadoodles out of Arkansas.
Right.
And then they carry a nice selection, too. So I've got two pretty good options. And, of course, you know what my situation is, and I'm traveling back and forth to St. Louis all the time, so, and I was able to pick these up when we were heading home, so that's kind of how I do my looking.
Okay. Yeah, we have a pretty good selection. One particular store we have is pretty large. I just can't get over how ridiculously high priced the whiskeys and rums have become, and even some of the vodkas. It's insane. Is this the government? Are these taxes?
I got in trouble for saying this on one show, but I'm going to say it again, is when you add terms like craft or artisanal, the prices go up.
Like, yeah, like...
And I understand understand that this is craft beer. You can't call this regular. I get that. That's not what I was saying. I think some people might have missed that point I was trying to make. Is that, but when you start adding those words, if you say something is craft or artisanal, automatically the price goes woo.
In other words, it's like when I mentioned we in gardening or botany we use clay pots, but as soon as they started calling it terracotta with a little fancy design in the clay pot, then it became a terracotta pot. All of a sudden, the clay pot cost more money. You know.
In stores now you've got artisanal bread. Or all of a sudden the price goes way up for a loaf of bread.
Whole Foods has that artisanal bread.
Yeah.
And it's just a word. It's an excuse to jack up the price. I mean, everything was specially made at one time. That's all we had. The bread was whole grain and high quality. The beers were craft. They were all craft.
And the truth is, when you buy a beer like this, you're going to pay more than craft, and you should. You should pay more, but you shouldn't be gouged either. And I think there are certain breweries that are trying to get a little more than they should.
Yeah, well, I was referring to the really good whiskeys and rums. Like we were talking about Jameson's and Bushmills Irish whiskey, and Johnny Walker.
Out here, small batch bourbons are big. Anything that says small batch on it, all of a sudden, is going to take you from $20 to $40. Just like that,
Yeah, that's right.
And I kind of look around because I love those great bourbons, but I'm kind of a frugal shopper, so I've been able to find a $20-$25 small batch whiskeys that are every bit as good as some $40-$45 versions. So it's all about buying smart.
Exactly. Sure. I mean, the educated consumer. People that do
I'll give you a good, for instance, I picked up a bottle of Irish whiskey not long ago at a store for $15. Everywhere else has the same bottle. Every store, except for this one, sells it for $24. So why can one sell it for $15 and the other stores are selling it for $24?
Exactly.
It's a $9 difference for exactly the same bottle of whiskey.
Well, the other guy's a greedy bastard then, the other owner of the liquor store. Why should it be $9 higher than his competitor for the same thing?
And it shouldn't be. That's the answer to the question. It shouldn't be. If they were all at about 18, 19, everybody would be making some money. But the truth is, I know the guy selling it for $15 is making money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like what a friend of mine was telling me about, things in Latin America, like Colombia, for instance. They, if something is imported, even if it comes from Cuba or Puerto Rico or Florida, it's considered imported. It's like the worst in free market capitalism. They take the word imported and they make it real special, like, it has to be brought all the way to our country. And they use every little excuse to jack up the price. And I think that's what they do here in the United States. Which sets the example for the world when it comes to capitalism.
Yeah.
It's a play on words, and semantics and...
man.
Like
I tell you what, I was worried that a beer, a lot of these specialty type or gimmicky ales that put extra things in them. This one with the chestnuts, they get a little tough to drink when you get down to the bottom. So I was a little concerned this one would get that way, but it's not. I mean, it's just as tasty and refreshing down here than it was up here. This is an incredible beer. Holy crap, that's cool.
Yeah, like getting back to the other subject. It's like semantics. Like New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg says, the police in this city are not pressured into writing tickets because they have a quota. No, they don't have a quota. They have goals. Well, it's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Goals, quotas,
Yeah, what's in a name, right? Yeah.
Yeah, goals, quotas, it's the same damn thing. But that looked like an outstanding, exotic, I would consider exotic flavored beer.
Yeah,
Any
like I said, I've never ate a chestnut, so I don't know what flavor to expect. They're not something, I mean, I grew up in Southern California. It's not something I eat there. It's not something I've had here in Missouri. So I had no idea what this thing was going to taste like. And this is an amazing flavor.
yeah,
And it's very hard to describe because there's so many things going on. I'm having a hard time. But this is just kind of flavorful.
anything besides water, yeast, malted barley, and hops, anything aside from those ingredients is considered spiced, flavored, you know, exotic beer, whatever you want, words you want to use. If you go beyond the basic ingredients, you're going to have a different flavor than the average.
Yeah.
Chocolate. The list goes on and on. Like I've had blueberry beer. I've had pumpkin beer up in Salem, Massachusetts, at the Salem Brewery.
Yeah.
Did I like them? Not necessarily. If would I drink it if somebody handed it to me for free? Yes. But would I go out of my way?
Ales tend to get real popular right about October for obvious reasons. I'm not a huge fan, but I generally have one or two during the season. And I tell you what I've done with them in the past, or what they're great for, is because you and I have talked about food, is that a pumpkin ale is great to make a rice pudding out of.
Rice pudding?
Yeah, gives you that little pumpkin flavor in your rice.
You know what was really good is when I made when the weather gets chilly, I make homemade deep dish pizza with my bread machine. I have a Hitachi bread machine that makes pizza dough, and I did what they did at the Salem Brewery. I added craft beer instead of water to the dough recipe.
Oh, there you go.
And it was beer dough, beer pizza dough. And I did just what they did, just replace water with craft beer, and it came out outstanding. The pizza dough was really, really great. And, thank God for my Hitachi bread machine, which I got as a floor model at a going out of business sale. And it was brand new, but it just didn't have the blade. I had to order it from Hitachi.
Oh, there you go.
It cost me $40 for a brand new bread machine that was a floor model.
That's nice. There you go.
Knock on wood.
Yeah,
My
wife makes beer bread that's just incredible.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the bread is just so moist, it's amazing. Oh, goodness.
I make my own sourdough starter. It's very easy.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's so easy and it lasts forever. You simply, for you folks out there too that love the flavor of sourdough, which is kind of like a fermented a yogurt version of dough. You take equal amounts of flour of your choice. It could be all-purpose unbleached flour. It can be whole wheat flour. Let's say you have all-purpose unbleached. You take equal amounts of flour to equal amounts of warm filtered water. You mix it in a glass or a ceramic container, and you put some sugar in it, or whatever sugar you got, because the yeast needs sugar to start growing. You add some sugar in it, stir it up, and then put a light towel over it. Don't seal it. Never use anything metallic. Never put a metallic spoon in the sourdough. Use like a plastic or wooden spoon, and let it sit for a week. After a week, you'll see this black fluid accumulate at the top of the sourdough. All the fermentation is in there. You stir it up and you refrigerate it. And then you use it as a flavoring. You can make homemade pancake batter, sourdough style, whatever sourdough you want to make. And when it gets down to very little bit left, you do the same thing over again. You get another few cups or whatever of flour and a few cups of warm water. Add sugar, and you leave it out room temperature. You do the process. You gotta keep on feeding it.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, and that's how I make kefir and yogurt. And, I have the kefir bacteria. But that's basically
hear that,
it.
Seamus? Yeah, my son loves kefir. He heard you say that you make your own.
I have the kefir bacteria that I could actually. You know where I originally got it? I got it from Whole Foods. It was a little pricey, but I haven't. The company wanted me to use the packet, a new packet, every time I made a quart of kefir. But guess what? I already got the kefir bacteria growing in the first batch. So I keep on saving, they're like little balls, little nuggets. I keep on saving them, and they grow, and I make new kefir from the same original batch.
That's interesting.
And kefir, you don't have to boil, you don't have to heat it up, and you don't need an incubator. Kefir ferments in room temperature. So all you do is you take a pitcher of milk, and you just add the bacteria, and you just leave it somewheres for 24 hours or so, and the whole thing solidifies and becomes kefir.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's it. As simple as that. I mean, you could probably, it might work if you get kefir from another country, like from Eastern Europe or the Middle East. If you get a container of kefir that has real live cultures in it, you might be able to use that. And anything solidified, like little white balls, you save them. That's the bacteria.
Oh, okay.
And just keep on making it. It's actually better than yogurt when it comes to probiotics. It's a better quality probiotic. But anyway, one more beer for the road.
All right, let me get my cooler here.
Those are kefir is a very refreshing. It's like buttermilk.
My son loves this stuff. I personally don't like it. Don't like it at all. But my son Seamus, he loves this stuff.
Yeah, if I'm able to contain it in a Ziploc bag, maybe I can mail you some. It's not going to be a pretty sight when you take it out of the envelope, but.
Pour this here for you. Now I only had those two from Urban Chestnut, so I'm going a different direction for number 3. But we're talking about summer styles. So, here, look at that color.
Nice amber color, sure.
This is from Mother's Brewing Company here in Springfield. It's called Sandy. They call it a hopped up wheat, and it is 4.8%, 33 IBUs, which means that's pretty hoppy. 33 IBUs is pretty hoppy for a 4.8% beer, and for a wheat beer, that's extremely hoppy. Most wheat brews won't go above 20. There are some exceptions. Don't write me letters. Tell me I'm wrong. There are some exceptions, but most don't jump over 20.
All right, Sandy. It sounds like a go-go dancer's name.
Well, I tell you what, Mother's is a new brewery. They've only been around slightly over a year, and when they rolled this out last year, they rolled it out as Sandy Wheat, as their wheat offering, and it was meant to be their seasonal summer beer.
Right.
The problem they had was that we have another brewery out of Kansas City called Boulevard that has a Boulevard wheat that's real popular here. And basically what Boulevard wheat is, it's not a bad beer, don't get me wrong, but it's what the Bud Light drinkers around here drink when they think they're drinking a good beer, which basically means it doesn't have an extreme amount of flavor. So when Boulevard wheat drinkers pop their Sandy wheat, it was a lot hoppier than they were used to. So a lot of those folks complained, but rather than change their recipe, they just changed the name. They took the wheat off so people weren't confused, which they shouldn't have been anyway, but that's a whole other topic. So they just call it Sandy hopped up wheat. They're letting people know there's a little more hops in there than your average wheat. And that's what makes it good. The truth is that many years ago I did drink a lot of wheat, but over the last few years I kind of find them a little boring. I don't drink them very often. But this one, it's got that wheat malt flavor that you like if you like a wheat beer. But it's got more hops going on.
I would have called I would have called the beer Hop Along Sandy.
There you go. But I mean, it's got a great hop finish on it. You know, just that bitterness works perfect. Makes this a great, great, great summer beer.
Or better yet, Hop On Sandy.
There you go. It's just got the grapefruit notes in this are just incredible. And the problem was that the Boulevard wheat drinkers thought it was too much grapefruit going on. Well, if you like good beer, if you like big flavors, it's not too much. And that's what was great about it, is that it had more flavor than any wheat beer on the market.
Really?
And that's why it was popular with everybody but Boulevard wheat drinkers.
It definitely looks inviting, the color, and these are you have seen, viewers, 3 great looking, great tasting summer craft brews. Excellent.
And let me read from their bottle real quick. If I can read it, my eyes just went out of focus on me. This hopped up, unfiltered wheat pays tribute to our founder's mother, Sandy, the spirit and malt bill of a Belgian wit beer, fused with the hop and soul of an American pale ale. So if that helps you, they're kind of somewhere between a Belgian wheat and an American pale ale. They do give food pairings, and I don't usually read them, but since it's on the bottle, I'm going to give them to you. It says goes great with grilled shrimp, scallops, turkey burgers, jerk chicken kebabs, fajitas, and sushi. That covers a lot of ground, but basically a beer like this is good with any lighter summer-type foods. You know.
Exactly. Hey, when you're thirsty and it happens to be
Oh,
hot and balmy out there, all these light microbrews, craft beers are great, refreshing. That looks great. That's
now, want a beer like on a day like today? I mean, anytime it's 85, 90, 95, you want crisp, you want clean, you want that finish to just kind of snap at the end. You know, when you take that last drink, you want that finish to be real crisp and dry right there, just cut you off, and that's what gives you a good summer refreshing brew.
very good, very good. So that
And
is
on my freezer, I had to get it down real quick. I had to jump back to shot, and I'm back.
what you said. You had to get your razor.
No, my cat jumped on my freezer.
Oh, your cat jumped on the freezer.
So I got
Yeah, cats don't have really a memory for discipline. Like if you squirt your cat with water when it gets up on the counter, it jumps off, but then it goes right back on. They don't seem to remember like dogs when they get disciplined. They're like very.
I'm not sure if they don't remember or just don't give a crap.
They don't. They're very independent. They don't care. It's like this is my. Oh, you're my master? Well, bullshit. This is my territory. I took over. You know, they have that kind of an attitude. You know, but would Seamus like to come say hi or lay a few words of wisdom on us?
Seamus, you got any words of wisdom?
You want to be on the internet?
He doesn't. He's not wearing a shirt. I don't think he wants to be the naked anything.
The naked sun?
Oh, that's hard.
Well, both of you take your shirt off, and you'll be like.
Did you hear what he said?
What?
Did you hear what he said, James? He said, "Not with you people."
Not with you people.
That's harsh.
Yeah, but how many dads? I mean, you got a father that makes you laugh. You know how many grouchy, stuffy, anal retentive fathers or Faja, like Austin Powers, Goldmember, remember? I am your Faja. I am your Faja. Look how many boring dads are out there. At least Seamus has a funny, entertaining dad.
Yeah.
It gets old after a while.
It gets old
But
after
every
a
once in a
while.
while, I ask him if he wants me to be stuffy and boring, and he always says no.
Oh, he could adopt me. I mean, I didn't grow up with a father, so I'm a little old to be a son, but Look, you put snapdragons under his ass. I mean, God knows what else. What's next? The cactus?
I will survive, man. I'm like Frankenstein. I keep going.
Yeah, Frankenstein, Freddy Krueger, the list goes on and on. You know, you would be an excellent character actor in low-budget horror movies, like a mad scientist, or wait a minute, the next Batman movie, name a villain that hasn't done a movie with Batman yet.
Famous.
King Tut, no, he hasn't done one.
A
The
villain that hasn't done a...
Clock King? No, Clock King hasn't done one. There's a whole bunch that haven't done.
Batman villain hasn't been in a movie yet.
Yeah, I mean, I used to watch the old series. It was stupid as hell, but it's funny, you know. But yeah, you'd be a very good arch villain, you know, like.
Yeah, put my name in the hopper. Give me a gig, James.
Let's connect it with beer. Let's connect it with beer. There he is, Seamus. Name
He's
that.
5'10". I'm 5'7".
He's what?
He's 5'10".
Already?
Yeah, it's 13 and 5'10".
What is that? What is that? All the hormones they give the cattle for the hamburgers today? What's going on, man?
I tell people he's my baby Yeti.
Baby Yeti?
Yeah, but you know he's not hairy or dark enough to be a Bigfoot. He's light skinned, so he's a Yeti.
He's a Yeti that had a skin condition and lost all his hair, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm extremely white. He's almost translucent.
Well, a Yeti is a Sasquatch from the Himalayas. That's all. White hair.
Yeah.
Sasquatch. It's not a very pleasant sounding name. Yeti sounds better.
He called me a moron and left the set.
You tell him your father's going to be a big star from the internet.
It's just my kitchen, you know. My set is the kitchen. You know? I'm in my kitchen. Yeah, you can. You just walk right by.
Someday we're going to be invited to on David Letterman or one of those shows, or that guy with the really big chin. What's his name? Jay Leno. Well, you definitely outdid yourself.
That's my drunk face right there. I was doing for you.
It was kind of a. You know what that looked like? For a second? Actually, it just froze. It just froze. How about that? Tom.
It was on the internet, and the internet's gone. That's why it froze up and stopped.
What happened was you froze up exactly when you made that funny face. that face thing. That face froze up. I
Don't do that again, huh?
Maybe it cast some kind of spell on it. I don't know, but that's exactly how it froze.
There you go. There you go. So you need to end the show with that shotgun.
Well, I could. I went back on the air, but yeah. But anyway, you were pretty much finished with that last beer, right?
Yeah. I've got about a swallow left here, and that's about it.
Yeah. So. Well, I finished it up, and it was a good show. It was a very good show for the beginning of summer. Summer solstice week, and I thank you for another blockbuster. You know, Volume 10.
We'll see if anybody watches this one.
Volume 10. I don't know how many hits the Naked Beer Taster got.
Last time I looked, I think it said 48.
48.
But I think it would have been better if I was standing up, because then I could have shook my belly around. I don't do well sitting down.
Well, you were jiggling your belly with both hands, so you know you were moving. You know, and
I'm embarrassing my family.
oh boy, you never hear the end of it after the show?
No. I don't. They don't talk about it. They want to forget it ever happened.
What? When you went topless?
Yeah.
Topless and bottom.
Well, I tell you what. I'll tell you something your audience doesn't know is the reason I do my show standing up is because I'm not wearing any pants. I'm just hanging out in my boxer briefs here. I put a shirt on to give the illusion I'm wearing clothes.
Oh,
Well, I'm doing all my shows half naked anyway.
oh, I'm surprised. I usually only walk around with my boxer briefs, um, around only like very, very close family members. You know, if it's, uh, of course, if my sister walked in with some of her female friends, I'm not going to walk around in my boxer briefs.
Well, I'm just hanging out. We're just here with the wife and son, so I just hang out in my underwear.
Yeah. What, your daughter yells at you when you hang out like that?
No, well, she's not here. She doesn't live with us.
Oh, okay.
She's married and on her own, but she visits every now and again.
Yeah, yeah. But she lives close by.
Yeah, she's about 5 minutes away.
Right. Now, how far are you from Kansas City, driving distance?
About 3 hours.
3 hours? Yeah, they seem to have a lot of great barbecue landmarks there, according to the program I saw.
Yeah, there is. There is a lot of great barbecue up there. There's a small chain out there called Gates that's just fantastic.
Gates?
Gates.
Gates, right?
Yeah, Gates Barbecue. Those folks are amazing.
Yeah. Do they emphasize dry rub like Memphis does, or are they sauce people up there?
It's not cooked with sauce, no. I think it's all mostly dry rub. But they emphasize sauce at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it doesn't burn that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas barbecue is a lot of sauce, from what I understand.
Well, most Texas barbecue is a little different because in most places barbecue you're talking about pork. In Texas you're always talking about beef. They don't eat pork.
Brisket.
They do mostly brisket. It's a whole different, animal, so to speak.
Yeah,
it's a whole different ball game there.
Yeah, like Texas chili sometimes doesn't even have red kidney beans in it. It's all meat.
No, Texas chili has no beans at all ever. It's just beef, and it's more tomato based.
Right.
Tomato and beef.
Well, when I do the chili in the pressure cooker, like when my brother-in-law gave me venison pot roast back in the day when he was shooting some big bucks up there in the mountains, in the Adirondacks. What I would do is I would use the venison pot roast in the pressure cooker, and you know how pressure cookers are. That whole pot roast just came apart. Like you didn't even have to break it apart. It just spread apart, and it took over the whole meal. It spread out in little shreds, and I added kidney bean too. It took a half hour. Dry kidney bean from a bag. Rinse.
Yeah, I always use dry beans. I never use canned beans.
Well, a pressure cooker, you can cook dry beans in 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, the venison was really tender, and like I said, it came apart on its own, and it was a fantastic chili. I mean, I learned just how powerful habanero peppers really are, because I only needed to use one habanero for the whole 6 quarts. Because I don't know if it's the habanero peppers that I grow by putting this Miracle Grow fertilizer. Maybe it's the Miracle Grow, but they were so hot I can only use one. And the heat is in the seeds. One time I used 2. Oh, I couldn't, my mouth was on fire. I couldn't taste anything else. And I just used 2 habaneros. But, try people out there throughout the country that want to make hellfire chili. If you go to the market and get a few little habaneros fresh, and you don't need anything else. You don't need jalapenos, you don't need chili powder, you don't need any of that. Because they are powerful. Now the scorpion chili from Trinidad is the most powerful, hottest pepper in the world. Even hotter than the ghost chili from northeastern India. But
is that right? Hotter than the ghost pepper?
It beat out the ghost. It's like,
wow.
And the ghost is over 1 million Scoville units.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That's brutal, man. It's so that cat there, it looks like Sylvester a little bit. Seems.
Well, let me get her face up there. You can see she's kind got the coloring of an orca whale, where the bottom half is all white. She's
Yeah,
black above the nose, and below the nose she's all white like an orca.
she looks like an orca. You're right about that. She has the yellowish eyes, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like a Halloween black cat.
This one likes to snuggle. That's the one that was on the freezer. She was trying to get my attention. She doesn't like when I'm not paying attention to her.
Well, when I had a couple redhead, I had a redhead tabby and a gray tabby, and tiger stripe, and the redhead cat tabby was Samantha, and the other one was Sabrina, and they used to follow me around. And when I would take a shower, they would swat the shower curtain while I was in there, peeking around the corner, watching me take a shower. Yeah, they would follow me around, and they knew when I came home. They were right there by the door. Animals are great. I mean, they give unconditional love. They always love you, no matter what. And but anyway, thank you for a great Volume 10 of Honest Craft Beer Reviews.
Yeah, we'll see if we get anybody to watch it this time.
Nah, we get people to watch it. We got a nice library of shows going. This is for regional food and drink and honest craft beer reviews. Controlled, managed by John Starodumsky and Red Rooster.
I keep throwing them up on the BDU site to see if I'm going to get any takers, but Stuart will comment if it's on the Honest Craft Beer site, but nobody on the BDU side ever remarks on it.
Well, those infamous members that do not believe in the First Amendment and booted Red Rooster and John Starodumsky off that group, they are Ringcock, Shipman, and Pooper. Nice names. Those are their names. So this is in Facebook land for those of you that have a Facebook account. And the groups that we're representing are Facebook groups. So everybody who is a fine food and fine drink and craft beer lover, you are welcome to come jump aboard our pirate ship and join and become members. But that's about it. But anyway, I got to go work out now. Thank you for Volume 10.
I got to say real quick, though,
Yes.
in fairness, some of those guys, Stuart, Tom, Michael, have given me a lot of support when they found out about Seamus. So, I feel I need to say that, even though they did Red Rooster and John wrong. Those guys have been support to me when they found out about Seamus's conditions. So
the ones I mentioned before, Cooper, Ringcock, and Shipman, or other members.
Yeah, Michael Cooper and Tom Shipman, those two gave me a lot of support about Seamus. So I need to mention that in fairness.
All right. Well, that was nice of them. I mean, they got to realize that if they have a group, okay, in the United States, they shouldn't be so thin-skinned. They should be able to, disagree but also respect other people's opinions. And if Red Rooster and John Starodumsky told the truth about, let's say, people that take the big bribe, the big payoff by getting a free case of beer and giving a dishonest critique, they should be able to allow that freedom of speech.
Yeah, and that's true. I agree with that. Yeah. But in my situation, I feel like I need to mention that.
Yeah, no, I understand. If people are supportive and compassionate and give you moral support, I would appreciate it also if I was in your position. But they just shouldn't be so thin-skinned if they're running a group. Because, everybody has an agenda, everybody has an opinion, and sometimes the opinions are not the same as ours.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I get heckled with my shows too on YouTube. I just ignore those people. I used to go on and on and on and fight with them, but you know, not anymore. You know, controversy is good for ratings sometimes. You know, if everybody loves you all the time and you don't generate any heat, then you know things just go on and get boring. You know, it's good to have a little heat stirred up. You know, a little controversy.
Yep.
You know, we're controversial naturally because we're outspoken and we say what we think and how we feel, and we let it all hang out. So if you're 100% honest, you're automatically controversial. You know.
Yep.
That's how Howard Stern is. He shoots straight from the hip, and he gets in trouble. But you know what? He's not doing so bad. But anyway, I'm gonna go work out.
All right, James. Thanks, man. You take it easy.
All righty, take care.